and we have Mr. Esposito from Public Works at the podium. So Public Works, engineering, building maintenance, highway and park maintenance, vehicle maintenance, compost and solid waste, that is you?
What doesn't he do?
I don't know. That's here.
Oh.
So I'd like to open it up to the finance department. And is there anything you'd like to say first before I ask if they have any questions for you?
No, we can start with the questioning.
Okay, anyone in finance have any questions for him? Mr. Councilman Attorney.
Hi, Acting Commissioner. I just, there's a assistant engineer surveyor that's getting a $23,754 decrease in their salary. It's on page 70 or 69 of the budget book. I'm just trying to find more about this position. Look for 70.
69,
On
you
page 69.
69.
said?
The top pages always throw me off because they don't have numbers.
Okay, and the engineering,
Yes.
the assistant engineer surveyor?
Yep.
Okay,
What's their role? And I just want to know more about this position. Is the duties being carried over to another position?
well, the assistant engineer would assist our engineer Abdul Qadar. He goes out and does a lot of the field work, the surveying, the checking of the water courses and whatever other duties that are assigned to him by the engineer.
So it's under Abdul's department. He's the engineer.
He's the city engineer, so the assistant engineer works directly under him.
So you're going to be taking up the slack for the whatever work they can't do anymore?
Abdul, you want to answer that question? I mean, I could answer part of it, but I think in depth, it would have to come from you. Does he have to come to the podium, or can he answer from the seat? Fine with you?
You're free for him.
You're supposed to come to the
Stay right
podium.
here so we can hear you.
We need him on the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this was working or not. I was
Or
testing it
recording.
before.
The assistant engineer, we used to have a technician before, and when he left, we hired as assistant engineer. There's a lot of work. We have what we call before you dig, that we have to mark out. Then we have to do some property surveys when we need it. Then there are a lot of complaints that we have to address for people, and there are a lot of projects that we have to do. On top of that, a year back, or 1.5 years back, we got a notice of violation from EPA regarding our stormwater issues. And they basically say that you have to hire another engineer to do the work. And this particular engineer was hired to do what we call MS4, is to address the stormwater system in this system. We have 310 outfalls. We have to map it. We have to do dry weather testing, then we have to do wet weather testing, and then we have to do investigation if there is any leakage of sanitary sewer going into storms. There is a lot of work. Last year, the current year, we are spending $250,000 on top of that engineer, hiring a consultant to help him. And for next year's budget, we have $200,000 additional money on top of this engineer. So this engineer is actually can't do all the work that we need to do.
So he can't do all the work, so we have to use outside. So where's the? Do you know where the line is for the $200,000?
It's a 5-year capital plan.
Capital non-recurring?
So we're paying for that extra work through bonding.
Yes.
It's capital non-recurring.
Capital non-recurring.
It's not bonding. It's not bonding.
It's capital
non-recurring.
non-recurring.
Oh.
It's not
Oh.
bonding. Oh my God.
And is his workload going down this year, or is the EPA still on top of us?
The work actually is more than we can do.
So
Court decree.
are we going to have any problem with the consent decree?
Yes, if we don't have the position, and then we have to increase the 5-year capital plan. We have to hire outside help.
So we might be saving $23,000 here, but costing us more money on the back end.
Yes.
Do you have a potential figure on that?
we figured the outside consultant costs about 2.5 times more than this person would cost.
Would you say it's not cost effective? Would you say it's more cost effective to keep this in-house
Yes,
than it is to farm it out?
that's correct.
Thank you.
Just the engineering department's a part of it too for the city of West Haven, just so you know, it's Abdul.
Do we know, like
Currently
other
Barry
cities, what their
Hammond's.
engineering department is? I dealt with engineering department before in a previous job.
But we used to have 7 people before.
Yeah, I'm used to large engineering, especially on the shoreline.
We used to have 7 people, now we have 2.
And that's causing us to have to basically privatize your office. And,
We do a lot of private, yes.
thank you, Bill. My next questions are on, grounds and building maintenance. There's 3 positions down. A crew leader and 2 utility people. I was wondering, just a background there.
You wanna give me a page again?
Sorry, it's a top, so it's 75, so look for 76.
76, ground maintenance, okay.
Yeah, look to the top part though.
It's 75,
Yeah, they're on ground as
Yeah,
well.
I get the number, only the even pages.
I know. Saving a toner.
All right, so your question is, I'm sorry,
I'm just asking more about these positions. So the crew leader and the 2 utility people, were these open positions? Are they, what's going on in this department?
the grounds maintenance, if, that's part of park maintenance?
No, building.
Building maintenance, sorry, thank you. Are you just looking at the top up here on 75, or
Yeah.
you're looking at the breakdown below?
The top part, so the crew, so the utility person, there were 5, there's minus, they're losing 2 this year?
Yeah, there's,
Or it's 5 this year, there
It's
were
5.
7 last
They had
time,
7
and we're
before,
down to
yeah.
crew leader.
right,
I'm just trying to, an explanation, who's gonna run the department?
well, they've been operating, there's one man that's been off on a long-term disability, and I believe he's up for retirement, and we're not sure if we're gonna replace him. And I think that, there's 2 people that have really been off for most of the year, so we're running short. But we've been doing the work of 7 men with 5 right now.
So, these are layoffs, or are they
No,
open
they're not
positions?
layoffs,
They're open
they're
positions?
long-term disabilities.
And the crew leader, so there's not gonna be a crew leader anymore?
The crew leader is, we are looking to eliminate the crew leader position, yes.
So in this department, who's in charge of this department?
Well, technically, the crew leader's not in charge of the department because it's a 681 employee, so
Okay.
they're not a supervisor. The
Okay.
other divisions of Public Works have a superintendent.
Okay.
So there is a superintendent of highway, there's a superintendent of parks maintenance, there was formerly a superintendent of operations, which is a position that no longer exists.
Okay.
And there was at one time was a superintendent of building maintenance. For whatever reasons, that job was turned into a crew leader position. So technically,
Who do they report to?
they report to the commissioner.
Are we planning on filling the commissioner position this year?
To which,
You're an acting commissioner, that's
Yes.
correct, you're not pulling that salary, you're pulling
I
the
am
chief
not
of
pulling that
staff
salary, I'm working for free.
Well, in that position, you're still getting.
I'm still working for free in that
Yeah,
position, yes.
you get
And,
more.
and every month that I'm there, or every week that I'm there, the
Are we,
city is,
planning on
realized.
filling that position then?
we've been taking resumes, we've been talking about filling it, the mayor and I have sat down on numerous occasions as to what we should do with it and when we should fill it. My suggestion was a month and a half, 2 months ago, let's leave it like it is for now, let's get through the winter. We don't wanna put somebody into this position in the middle of snow season and have them have all the headaches that we've been going through. So I've been, trying to fill both positions, and I'm putting in more than the required amount of hours to keep both positions, moving along, and I keep a close watch on what's going on in Public Works.
Thank you, I think you're doing a good job of it,
Thank you.
that's all.
Anyone else in finance have any questions? Anyone out of finance have any questions?
Hi, Lou.
No, you complain too much.
I keep you employed.
Yes, you
Let's
do.
look at it like that. Street sweeping. Is there like a schedule, or in what job would that fall under?
Falls under operators.
Operators.
Operators operate the street sweepers. I've had the fleet supervisor working on the other 2 street sweepers the past month and a half. We have all 3 working now, and we have enough operators. I have at least 1, maybe 2, and sometimes 3 sweepers out. We're trying to hit all parts of the city. The downtown takes precedence almost, 2 to 3 times a week, if not more. And then we go out into the other areas. I think I was up in the 5th and the 7th last week, and we went through part of your district and part of Portia's district. And then we try to hit I don't try to concentrate all the sweepers in one area, so everybody gets a little something. And, not the question you asked, but we've done that with the pothole patching. When we had more crews on, I've spread them out throughout the city so that everybody gets something. And it's not concentrated in one place.
Is there a schedule, or it's kind of like where you see fit right now?
Wherever we see that there's, buildup of debris and road salt, or not salt, but sand, where the cars carry sand from other places, so we try to pick that up. Leaves that are blown into the gutter, blocking storm sewers and stuff and such.
If you want to add, the street sweeping has been increased, and it's being very well documented now, because it falls back to being a part of the MS4 stormwater as well. So just to tie some things in for you, we need to street sweep to beautify and to make neighborhoods look nice and to get litter off the streets. But we additionally need to do it to prevent these materials from getting into the storm sewer
Right.
system. So as a part of the court decree, we've also had to step up things like street sweeping programs and the documentation of it.
Yeah, just for everyone's education, we have 1 fairly new sweeper, and we have 2 older, much older sweepers, but we've been maintaining them, keeping them going. I would like to see in the future, I know we won't be able to do it this year, but I think in the future years, we're gonna have to allocate some money to start upgrading our street sweeping equipment, to make them more efficient and effective out on the road.
Speaking of efficiency, do you think it would be better if there was a schedule, so folks would know to like move over to the other side, don't park there? Because there's been complaints about, like there might be cars parked there, because they didn't know, there was no notice.
Years ago,
And
they used
so-
to post all the streets.
Yeah.
And they would move the signs over to the other side and then come back the next day and sweep the other side. That's when they had a larger public works crew out there, and they were able to do it. Over the years, I guess what's happened is the attrition rate, they didn't have enough manpower to go out there and post every street. And that's been like that for, I guess, the past 8 years, 10 years, where they've gone out and swept as much as they can. My own preference is, I would like to see it go back to the other way, but I don't think we have enough manpower to get out there to post them, to move them, plus the cost of the signs themselves, that's another added cost.
How about even posting on the website to start with?
That'd be fine if everybody checked on the
but
website.
to start with.
We can certainly look at it and try it maybe
Could you?
in the future, yeah. But I mean, for a lot of you that have seen me driving around, I try to look at different areas of the city and see what needs to be done. And then a lot of times on the weekends, I'll drive around with my little pad and say that there's potholes here, there's trash here, there's whatever. Ronnie and I have talked about this before. I think I've touched base with quite a few of you in here. I've never heard from Louise, so her district must be perfect. But I really try to give everyone a fair shot at getting the trash picked up, the potholes fixed, and that's the best that I can do right now.
Thank you.
I noticed when we had gone out,
Peter, move your head back.
Chairman, when we had gone out and we were picking up trash in the Allentown area with UNH,
Mhm.
and a lot of trash that we could not get to is because they were behind like bushes.
Mhm.
So who would actually, or do you cut bushes down so when the trash blows and it gets trapped under the bushes, who would
If-
cut those down?
If the bushes are on city property, we will cut them, but if it's on private property, and you might be referring to Kilbourne and Tile Streets, where there's a ton of it because of the UNH students that are out there. And I was in that area Saturday myself. I'm not picking on the UNH students, I'm just saying that they live there.
It's like charging more for Pennsylvania residents.
But, you know, to answer your question, if it's city property, we do try to cut the brush back as much as we can.
We noticed it in Brent Park.
There's trash in Brent Park.
Yeah.
Well, the trash that goes into the parks or into the brush that we find is from
Right.
the people throwing trash out of their cars, or some people's trash blowing over on collection day and they don't go out and pick it up. And then it just keeps compounding up over time and it just builds up to where it becomes very unsightly. But we do, matter of fact, Councilman Mitch over there calls me whenever Highland Street gets filled, because people have this tendency to get done with their cup of coffee, roll their window down and throw the cup out. And we find this all over the city because people can't seem to hold the trash in their car once it becomes trash to them to go down the road. But we do try to pick up every street that we can. It's just, again, it's all labor intensive, and we have to pick that up. That means it's 2 to 4 men are out there poking manually to get the trash out of the weeds.
Right, but you do have employees to do that, correct?
When they're not doing their other duties, right now we're fixing storm drains and we're still patching potholes, we're fixing fields, we're picking up brush. The leaves right now, the bags of leaves, for any of you who don't know, we are not picking them up with Public Works personnel. That's part of our contract with our trash hauler. He picks it up, started April 1st, so pick it up for 8 weeks.
And has that gone out to the public?
I don't believe it has. I think that as the people put their leaves out, when the hauler goes by, he just picks them up. He has his own trash truck that picks up just leaves. He doesn't mix it in with the recycle, or he doesn't mix it in with trash.
And so this will go for 8 weeks, you said?
Yes.
It doesn't change the service on the user end.
No.
We pick up the leaves 52 weeks a year, but we utilize our solid waste contractor for a heavy period during the fall and a heavy period during the spring. So they're doing that now. Once the spring cleanups stop, we'll go back to doing the collection until the leaves come down in the fall. And then at that point, when there's a lot of bags, we send the contractor back out because they have more vehicles and more personnel. It ties up too many of our guys.
So they pick it up for 8 weeks from now, for April and May, and then in the fall, it's a 12-week program. It's
But
20
the,
weeks.
And the other 32 weeks we do.
But our residents are aware of this.
Well,
They don't need to be, the service is the same on the user end.
If they put the leaves out, they're still gonna be picked up. It's just on a, you know, the hauler will go through all the neighborhoods.
Okay. Thank you.
Couple of questions, solid waste. I said condo trash pickup, what condos will pick up trash?
All the ones that have an agreement.
They've made agreements with a lot of the condo associations 20 years ago.
Yeah, when the condos became a hot thing in the 80s, some of the associations were smart enough to try to negotiate trash pickup through the town, and they were granted some exceptions, and I think the word got out, and more often than not, I believe the condos have that.
Yeah, most of the condos have it. It started, I think, with Orinoco. They were one of the first ones to bring. I don't know if they brought suit, but they petitioned the city because they were paying their full share of taxes and not getting trash pickup.
What's tipping fees to disposal? What's that, leave?
Tipping fee is when they pick up our trash and they take it down to Bridgeport to dispose of it. They charge us per ton for tipping it, for tipping it into the recycle, I guess the incinerator. Yeah,
Tipping it into the
it's
incinerator now, yeah.
Resco.
Now, portable restrooms, what are those, where are they at?
Those are located throughout the city at the ball fields. We do that. We just let out a new contract for them. A lot of the ball fields that don't have facilities, they'll put the portable toilets there. Some portable toilets have larger capacity for handicap access. You okay, Rob?
I am, thank you.
And the recycling pickup is different, as a separate charge?
The recycling is all part of the contract that we let out with the solid waste hauler. He picks up our solid waste in one container, in one truck, and picks up the recycles in another. And then the leaves go into a third truck when he's under that April and May, and then the 12 weeks in the fall.
We can't make any money on recycling.
Well, whatever money you make on it, you'd have to have somebody sort it and bring it down to a recycling plant. So I don't know if it'd be economically feasible to do it that way.
Okay. That's all I have.
Lou, thanks. I know you mentioned my name, but I asked you for a couple things. You guys actually fixed the potholes at the bottom of my street without me even asking, because I was like, I'm not even gonna ask. But thank you for what you have done for when I have asked. So, just so we're losing 3 jobs in ground and maintenance, but those people haven't worked as 2 jobs are on disability, so nobody's been in those 2 jobs for over a year.
Over a year.
Okay, so we're not, and you've worked with 5 people doing for 7 more or less.
More or less, yeah.
So we're working more with less.
Right.
But-
I mean, you can put it that way. We're doing the same job with less personnel.
Correct. So we're saving money there, correct? With benefits too, correct?
Yeah, if you add the benefits in, it's an even bigger savings, because on top of the salary, you have anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 in benefits
Per person.
per person.
And then the crew leader, we're just eliminating that job.
Yeah, because the crew leader more or less, just directs what he has to have done. He'll take the orders from myself, or sometimes Mark might say, listen, the front hallway looks terrible, or the back ramp has to be cleaned, and then they'll go out and get it done.
So these jobs are in this building?
Here.
More or less.
And the conference center too is under us, right, Mark? For maintenance.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing, was there's a slight reduction, because the Allentown library is still open, but the senior center's not there. We've had 2 senior centers closed, a couple of buildings closed, so there's a slight reduction in the amount of work that they perform. Certainly a little easier from the cover now with fewer buildings, that they can kind of mix and match a
Oh,
little
okay,
more
so-
to meet their responsibilities.
So they worked in city buildings throughout the city then, not
Correct,
just?
not
in
just
this-
City Hall, right.
Okay, okay. So,
And Mitch, I will add that in addition to what we consider ground maintenance, they also are responsible for snow plowing all of the city properties, plus the parking lots along Campbell Avenue that are under our control, behind Silver's, behind the Altruler building. So, they do more than just clean the buildings, that we have to take care of the snow removal as well, trash pickup. We're constantly policing the Silver's lot, the Curtis Place lot, which is the Altruler building. So there's a lot more that goes into it for them, but they've been keeping up for the most part.
so you're okay with us not replacing those jobs for now?
Yes.
Hi Lou, thanks for, I see on Washington Avenue, they were out there today and I stopped, rolled down my window and gave them a thumbs up. I don't know who the guy was.
They
but I
came
told him-
yesterday, because I stopped there
Was
yesterday.
it yesterday? Oh, they might have been there yesterday. I went the other way. I take the scenic route sometimes.
Okay.
So I just want to ask a question as far as the engineering department. My curiosity, why was there a $23,000 increase in the salary of the assistant engineer from 2017 to 2018? And is it still the same person?
Still the same person, I think 2017 was part-time, was not the same, I
No,
thought it
it's
was
not the same.
part-time position back then. All right, you can answer.
Because that's a
Full story
huge,
with the contractor.
The $74,000 salary was originally the tech. He was a surveyor, he was not an engineer. When
okay.
he left, we hired an engineer because he needed a job. He came in, he stayed here about a year and a half, and then he left. And then we wanted to hire him back, he won't come back. He said, I need $95,000. We offered him 95 and he still refused. We can't get anybody below that amount.
Okay. That's just mine.
The position requires surveyor and engineering credentials.
Yeah,
both,
I was
so-
just, right, I was just, curious. So vehicle maintenance department, I have a couple of questions on that. So overtime, and I get it, and I'm just asking, how much overtime have they utilized so far this year? What, since the mayor said there's no overtime? Have we,
The overtime is generated because of the winter storms. Whenever we have a storm, or a
no, I
snowstorm,
understand that, so what,
The-
how much, like, what's the ballpark? Cause I see that this, for next year, vehicle maintenance is being the 75,000. Do you guys end up giving money back to us? Do we end the year with a credit, or do we end the year with a debit? Is 75,000 for overtime for vehicle maintenance gonna be enough?
well, we expended so far, well, I shouldn't say so far, up until the end of December, it was 27,000. In January and February, we got hit with quite a few storms. We're at 58% of our expenditures right now.
Through the storm season.
So we're below what we anticipated spending, so the mayor asked and we decided to go down some for next year.
So that should be fine for the rest of the year, cause generally the
We-
overtime only comes from the storms?
Most of it
I'm
comes
just
from
asking.
Most
well,
part,
it's
yeah.
snow,
Okay.
but then if we have storms throughout the summertime too, don't forget, if we have
Okay,
to
I
cruise it. So
I know about storms. Okay,
But
So-
we're hoping that we have another mild winter. I mean, this was
right,
comparatively mild to what we've had in the past, even though we had quite a few hours worked, because sometimes they predict the storm coming in at 10 o'clock at night, and we get the guys in, and the storm doesn't show up till 6 the next morning.
right,
We have to keep the guys, and that's
right.
8 hours of time on the clock. So,
And half, right. So, you're gonna love this question, because I just wanna revisit, the broom and sweeping. And, so I understand that there's a cost with the posting of, the flyers. I understand that, you know, we're gonna have to put some money out to make some money. But if we were to be on a schedule, if we said every Tuesday and Thursday of these particular months, we bought the signs, we made the investment, and if those cars are there and we're ticketing them $35, will we not make back the money? I mean, isn't it a small investment for long-term gain? Because when I think about what we're trying to do and what we're looking to do things